Hello everyone, welcome to MinseyCrafts. I am Minna and I am your host on this channel. This is my knitting vlog where I tell you about my knitting adventures and I come to you from my knitting nook in the northeast of England. And thank you all my viewers, new and revisiting, and all my subscribers. As usual, I am not sponsored by any of the brands that I'm talking about here. In my first update, I will go over my Rei accessory set, which I have now finished. And for if you haven't watched the previous episodes, I'll just give you a quick recap on this. So it is a cabled hat and a snood set, and it is by West Yorkshire Spinners. And it's knitted with a super chunky rowing yarn. So first of all, I knitted the, you may remember if you watched the previous episodes that I knitted the snood first because I thought that I would get my attention for the hat from that. And then in the last episode I showed how the snood turned out just slightly too big, and after I had blocked it, it even like stretched more in at that stage. So then I wasn't quite ready to give up yet on that. So I then decided that this yarn will felt. So I will felt it into correct size and I will show you how it looks now. So it is felted now, and actually let me show you a little bit closer on the camera. So you can see that the texture on it has changed, but you can still see the cable. How the cables look. It's actually, I think, upside down. So here we go. But you can see the felted look in it, and it's much more appropriate size now in terms of width and so. I still think, obviously, what I didn't, I guess, think at the time when I decided to felt this was that it will become more stiff and dense, the fabric. And so it's a bit more of a daffodil trumpet now, I guess I would call it. But at the same time, I quite like it. It's nice and warm. I've worn this around the house a little bit. There was yesterday was a cold day, and it really nicely keeps my shoulders and my neck warm. You don't wear this really around the house doing stuff because it very easily tries to fall off. I do still think that what I might do so that it sits better around my neck is if I cut little slits here on the sides, but instead of doing a single slit, I realized that it probably needs like one in the front next to the shoulder and one in the back, so that it has a little more movability on it. Because this is felted now, I don't think that cutting into it would let the yarn start running, so it should be okay. I would, of course, finish the edges then with by sewing them so that it's going to look a little bit nicer. Then to show you the next, so I finished the hat next, and this I knitted in circular, as you may remember. It's been blocked now, and I really like this. I love it. It's really nice and soft and squishy, and absolutely going to keep my head warm when it gets very cold. So let me just put this on and show you how it looks like. Here, I love it, absolutely. It's just the right size for me. I like my hats a little bit, maybe a little bit tight, because then it stays on, and what I've learned also is that wool always stretches a little bit. But I really dislike it if the hat like keeps sliding on my eyes and I have to like keep adjusting it while I'm walking around. Or it gets very windy here, so of course I don't want this to fly away in the wind. But I really like this hat. I am so happy with it. I may be less pleased with my snood, but sometimes this happens when we work on projects. But still, I think at the end I've managed to make the snood quite nice. I will post a short tutorial video about the hand felting process that I did with this, so if you're interested, you can see how I did it. I will also put the links for the West Yorkshire spinners and the pattern and the yarn below. This pattern was not a free pattern, unfortunately. And for the pattern itself, I think I would give it, if I had to say a rating from 1 to 5, I would probably give it 3. It was a simple pattern. It was written okay, but there were some things that I found a little bit unclear, and that's what happens sometimes. My next project update is this crocheted hat by Drops Design. It's called Little Paris, and yes, I am a hat person. So this is a free pattern, and I'll put the link below. Some of you might be familiar with the Drops Design patterns. I use them fairly frequently, and just because they do have a good selection, sometimes they're not written extremely well, but they have a good, you can almost always find something that you really like, and it's really nice that they're free patterns. And really you can find them in so many different languages as well. It's quite amazing, I think. So the yarn that was recommended to use for this pattern was Drops Paris, but I substituted yarn. So I found this yarn at my local yarn shop, and I just absolutely loved it. It's a cotton yarn in the base color is kind of off-white. I don't know if you can see the color, but it's mostly this kind of a white, off-white, I guess it's called ecru, and then there are different colors, little stripes within there. So this yarn is 100% cotton. It's called Savannah by Stylecraft. It's iron weight yarn, and it comes in 100 gram, I think this is called cake, probably. I wouldn't call this a ball exactly. And there's 165 meters in this. The colorway for this is called Pampas, and it actually shows on the label how it will look after knitted. So I've crocheted now this much of the hat. So I have the, I guess you might call it the body of the head or something. So my next what I will do is start working on the brim. So I have a couple of stitch markers here. One to designate where my row changes. So this is the first chain stitch of the row, and then this is just here to stop the stitch from slipping out. So let me put this on for you so you can see how it looks. I also like this one very much. So far it looks like this, and it would probably be kind of nice like this as well, but I am going to of course continue with putting in the brim, and I will hopefully have this done quite quickly. So this is really nice light cotton hat, so I was thinking I need something for the summer, and like I said earlier, I really like hats. I'm definitely an accessory person like that. I didn't use Drops Paris for this pattern because like I said, I found this yarn at my local yarn shop, and then I actually afterwards realized that this yarn could work for this Little Paris hat. So kind of give you an idea, the things that I look for when I substitute yarns. So first of all, Drops gives their yarn weight in these like alphabetical categories. So Drops Paris is a C yarn, and that falls into iron weight category. So you have to actually go into the you can go into the Drops website and look at each individual yarns, and gives a lot more detail in there. So first of all, I look kind of like what the weight is roughly for the yarn. Next, what I look for is how many meters per the grams. So does the meterage correspond roughly to the original yarn suggestion? Then I look at the gauge. So this one is 18 stitches by 24 rows, and that gives you 10 by 10 centimeter tension square. And I have to cheat here a little because I don't remember now what the Paris one is. So that one's 17 stitches and 22 rows per 10 centimeters. So that's quite close. And like I said, Savannah, this yarn, it's 100 grams equals 165 meters, which then 50 grams is 82.5. And for drops, Paris 50 grams equals 75 meters. So it's in the ballpark there, I would say. And of course, I look at the needle size. That the needle size recommendation is same, but it generally should be. Also, the thing that I do consider is a little bit more these days is that because drops Paris is a cotton yarn, so I also looked at this is cotton yarn, so it should be suitable from the texture point of view as well. I've just kind of within the last couple of years learned about things about like how garment drapes, how different yarns might drape differently, or the textures are different, and that's actually very interesting as well. So I assess then that this Savannah, Stylecraft Savannah, should work for making this hat, and so far it's looking like it works. And I will of course link you to this pattern in the space below. And updating you on my spinning adventures, I am still troubleshooting Ashford, and I will show you. I'm still trying to do some troubleshooting with this. Here you can see the drive band, which I think the tension is pretty okay, and this is the single wheel drive. So the problem that I think I have is that this part here is what is called a flyer, and this is the bobbin. And so when the wheel, the drive wheel turns, the bobbin or the flyer turns, and the bobbin is also supposed to turn on the inside, and then you adjust it from there's the brake band, you loosen it or tighten it, but you can see that the bobbin is not turning, and I'm not entirely sure why that is. I've oiled all the parts, so I've oiled on the inside here, and it turns independently when I don't have this brake band on here. So you can see the brake band is this. It's just a fishing line that I have, and so let me just if I'll remove. Now you can see that the bobbin turns, and this is actually not even the line, the brake band line that I got with the maintenance kit that I ordered. So I'm not entirely sure why it's not turning. I will show you though. So when I'm going anti-clockwise, it does turn. So it's the clockwise that it's not going, but that's not good, because I will need to be able to ply yarns later on, and you have to then turn it the opposite way from what you've twisted it originally. So you see here I've spun some yarn already, but I'm not getting a lot of twist onto it, as you can maybe see here. It's quite a loose twist. So I think, if I understand correctly, the problem here might be that I may need to try and pedal faster, and then and try to get the bobbin turn as well, maybe a little bit slower if I've understood correctly. So I'll have to try that out and see what happens then. I have now managed to spin, get a lot of twist into this, but this is overly twisted right now. but the problem still remains that it doesn't want to then wind onto the bobbin, and I think I will need to just be patient, and this is a journey after all, to learn this and try to figure out what the problem might be. I am trying to find some training class that I could go on to. So there are some things that I am not fully understanding, but I think I will eventually get there. So actually, while troubleshooting is quite frustrating, I also realize that sometimes I learn more when I have to actually think about it. So I'm trying to take this as a positive spin, pun intended. I hope you have enjoyed watching my knitting vlog today. I'll put all the links below, and feel free to comment or ask anything in the comment section, and I will answer. Also, if you've made any of these patterns, feel free to comment on how you like them and what you did. And if you have any suggestions about how I can improve my understanding about the spinning wheel, or how I can, well, if you think you know what is wrong with it, please let me know, and because that would also help me a lot. And don't forget to like and subscribe, and I will see you next time. I did forget to show you how the fire pit mitts turned out after I blocked them. So they are quite beautiful, I think, and I will show you how they look when I put them on. Here, just absolutely lovely. I love them.